Welcome back, everyone. I am Blaze here. I'm starting a new series. When I first considered getting back into EverQuest after a decade-plus hiatus, I binge-watched a bunch of Reptox and Level 1 Undercap videos, and these channels brought back so much nostalgia that I had to give it a go. I missed playing my favorite class. I felt like no channels adequately showed what it's like to play Bard. So I started this channel as a way to give homage to the Bard class and to show all the fun experiences that this game has to offer. I first made random Project 1999 videos playing Bard, got up to 59, almost got my epic, did a lot of raiding at inconvenient hours, then I got worn out. So I found out about this new TLP server, time lock progression server called Mangler, a server that wouldn't be capped like Project 1999, a server that will start fresh. I got into P99 when it had been Velious for a few years. I never got to experience the early expansions when the rush was there, when the surge of population was there. So I made videos on this channel showing what it was like playing a Bard on a TLP, and so far I've really enjoyed it. And little did I know that this channel would do so well. But I'm starting to get exhausted of playing on the Mangler server. 2 new sets of TLP servers have released since Mangler, and general server fatigue has grown. A lot of people have left for greener pastures. I want to really experience zones that I never got the pleasure of trying out. I was so focused on leveling quickly that I didn't have time to enjoy it. I also have a lot of requests to make class guides for the other 15 classes and not just Bard. And I don't feel right making a guide unless I play these classes firsthand. But I want to show the experience going level 1 to 60, playing a bunch of different classes. So I'm going to play 2 classes at a time so I can make these guides quicker. And I want to show using specific leveling pathways. What's it like being on the Qeynos side of Antonica? How about using the Freeport side? Using Kunark zones mostly, using Velia zones mostly. I really want to do an undead specific leveling pathway with, say, a Pally and a Cleric, but one day at a time. Welcome to episode 1 of EverQuest Adventures, my own take on the old Reptox videos. Hopefully I'll do it justice. In this initial season, I want to show playing a Good Alliance Monk and Shaman that mostly stick to the Qeynos side of the map. I want to show the side of Norrath that made my dad fall in love with this game so long ago. So I intend to start a Barbarian Shaman and a Human Monk. Not the best in terms of min-max, but the best if you want to not be kill on sight in all the good cities. So Monk and Shaman are a great combination. Monk is a solid puller in DPS, and Shaman is a solid healer that adds a lot of utility. For Shaman and Monk creation, I'm actually going to follow the Project 1999 stat guide. So when you first start your character, you get this Guildmaster note. Just go to your Guildmaster, turn that in, and you'll get your first piece of gear, usually a chest item. So my first goal when I made the Shaman was to get a level before I made the trek to Qeynos to rendezvous with the Monk. Going through the southern portion of Everfrost and Blackburrow can be very dangerous, so I wanted a little bit of a buffer of hit points. Now, if you think this night blindness is bad, it is way worse on P99. You can't see anything at all as a night blind race like human or barbarian. So thank God for this quality of life improvement that the TLP servers have. So while I was leveling the Shaman, I wanted to mainly take out skeletons, goblins, spiders, and gnolls. The spiders drop silks that can sell well in the Common Lands tunnel, and skeletons have bone chips, which can be used for some experience, for some quests, and sometimes skeletons drop weapons and armor. And I got really lucky. I got this cracked staff here, which gives you about a platinum if you sell it. And EverQuest does not hold your hand. It does not give you all your spells starting out. You gotta buy them. So this was a score to find. I got my level, and then I headed back to Hallis. I sold all the loot, and went to buy a lot of spells. And fortunately, I was able to get everything up to level 5. It's really convenient because I did not want to journey back to Hallis before I got the Gate spell and the Origin ability. On all the live and TLP servers, when you turn level 5, you get a free alternate advancement ability called Origin that lets you do a port back to your original starting point. And it has about a 20-minute cooldown. It's really great for casters because it effectively gives them 2 ports. You can bind wherever you want, like right outside your group that you're leveling at. Use Origin to go sell and get your spells, and then gate back to your group really quick. So I got finished in Hallis, and I started the journey south through Everfrost. And you gotta be careful here. All throughout Norrath, you'll have these random mobs that just wander all throughout zones that are kill on sight that'll just annihilate you. So in Everfrost, there's this nondescript skeleton. It looks like all the other low-level skeletons, and it's called a Vengeful Soloist. And it's way higher than everything around. It could probably 1 to 2 shot me here. And then I got to the Black Burrow zone in, and I was looking, hey, these mobs aren't that high level. Maybe I can take them out. I tried to run up, tried to split it, but it didn't go so well. And they hit really hard, so I had to run. Same thing. Got into Black Burrow, it got out of hand, and I had to run. Fortunately, the path was mostly clear. I got some straggler gnolls, too, again, once I was leaving Black Burrow. And this is a trick. So EverQuest has this weird mechanic where strafe running is slightly faster than running in a straight line. So if I ran straight, I would have gotten killed. But fortunately, this trick saved my bacon. And it's actually how bards used to do AoE swarm kiting back in the day, and how they do it still to this day on Project 1999. They actually click off all run speed buffs and just strafe run. And united for the first time, the monk and shaman finally meet up. And as I get into Qeynos, I run straight for the bank so I can get bound. Don't want to die and have to run all the way back from Hallis again. So let the grind begin. I summoned a bunch of these spirit pouches from my shaman. They're these 4-slot bags that have 100% weight reduction, which is great for monks. Monks take a mitigation penalty, they take an AC penalty for having too much weight. I think it's something like, yeah, you don't want to go over 14 to 15 pounds at this point in time. And I imagine this is going to help out a lot with that weight reduction. So I took out a bunch of trash in the Qeynos yard, and one of the early quests that you can do is turning in bone chips to this wandering, I think it's a paladin or cleric called Lashawn Novashine. It's some EXP, but I found a better bone chip quest later on. And I was fortunate, I got 2 chances to take out 50 Darkpaw, the name Gnoll that always runs straight for the Qeynos gate and gets annihilated, but no real loot though. I guess it's not a true name mob. I was starting to get worn out with the EXP rate in the yard, so I went into the Qeynos Aqueducts. This is the starting area for most of the evil classes of Qeynos. If you're in the market for a new home, it's pretty affordable down here. You got running water, plenty of food, and the neighbors are great, you know? But it's got some hidden walls, random high-level roamers, so you can get wiped out. I did. And interesting exits. Some of the exits actually lead to hidden walls in the various bars in Qeynos. So I ran into one of my favorite camps here, called the Injured Rat. The Injured Rat camp normally can get you a very early 5 hit point ring, and it's generally hard to fill all your slots in early EverQuest, so getting this item really pays dividends for the long term. No reason not to have it filled up with something. So I found the respawn timer actually be super quick. It was about 2 to 3 minutes. But now I need to discuss the special loot system on the Mischief and Thornblade servers. Name mobs on these servers will generally drop more loot than they usually do on the other servers, and they will drop items that come off of other similar level range mobs of the same expansion. So this is a loot pinata server, flat out. I was actually getting rings I never even knew existed. I was getting weapons, other piece of gear that I don't know where they drop, but I was getting a bunch of nice gear. So when I left, I got all my earring slots filled, neck and rings on both these characters. These servers are a loot pinata. You would rarely get this easily geared playing a traditional EQ server, or like what I had on Mangler. I went to the same camp, I got nothing, squat, compared to what I got today. Fortunately, I got to make a bunch of money selling the extra drops too. I made something like 60 plat across my characters, which will be huge when buying shaman spells later. And I explored a bit on my monk, and I found this mercenary camp. Looked it up, and they have no faction hit, so might as well take them out. And they can also be a placeholder for a named called the Shady Mercenary that can also drop loot, just like the Injured Rat. So I was actually able to hold down both the Injured Rat and Mercenary camp. They're a hop skip away from each other too, really close together. My bags on both characters got completely full, so I decided it was time to sell. I also had a bunch of bone chips, so I wanted to test out the other Qeynos bone chip quest. It involves going to the Paladin Guild and getting the 6-slot container, putting your bone chips in there, combining it, and then turning it in. And it actually gave about 2 to 3% experience at level 4. Definitely better than the LaShawn Nova Shine version. I went back into the Aqueducts, did some further exploring. Part of why I'm intrigued with this zone is my dad used to grind in this zone for like the early levels up to maybe 12 to 13. So I wanted to see what he was so excited about this zone, why he liked it so much. And there's this section of the zone where it has these level 10 mobs that would be a beautiful camp, no competition. I found this named beggar called Wyland too. I looked him up, and I found out that the same Paladin Guildmaster that you give the Bone Chip quest, he also asked you to do another quest to eliminate the Rat King. And this beggar Wyland is the Rat King. So you take him out, and you get this head to turn in that yields a lot of faction and a decent amount of EXP. I did the turn in on my shaman because of his starting faction in Qeynos left something to be desired. You know, the better faction you have, I believe the better vendor prices. So I'm going to end the video here, but I got to level 4 on both characters. My next plan is to check out Black Burrow and to get that origin ability level 5, so I can make travel to Hallus to go buy spells a lot more convenient. But thank you all for watching and supporting the channel. I'll see you in the next one.